Time now for another Tokyo Series report presented by Guggenheim. And let's bring in Taylor McGregor. She covers the Cubs for Marquee. You can also see her right here on MLB Network throughout the Major League Baseball season. And she joins us now from Tokyo. And Taylor, first of all, you're joining us from the future, which is mind-blowing to me. It's 8:30, 8:45 in the morning there. So we appreciate you time traveling for us to join us here on MLB Tonight.
Anything for you. There's not many people I would get up for, but Roflo, you're one of them.
Well,
so congratulations.
Thank you very much. Hey, you know, obviously Shohei Ohtani is the big, mega superstar, not only in Tokyo, but globally. But you know what? The Chicago Cubs, Seiya Suzuki and Shota Imanaga, who's getting the start during this Tokyo series, those are guys that are big superstars in their own right. How are they being received over there in their home country?
Well, it's funny because I joked with both of them that Shota was Taylor Swift and Seiya was Justin Bieber. And they sort of laughed back at me and said, yeah, you think we're up here, but really we're down here in comparison to Ohtani. And it's certainly clear that Ohtani's face is painted everywhere. He is the global superstar. But look, I think every Japanese baseball player playing in these two games have made an enormous impact on this country. And that goes with Imanaga and Seiya as well. There's so many Suzuki jerseys on the club or in the concourse level when I was walking around the stadium, and I said to Seiya, that has to make you so proud. And he said, I do feel a lot of pressure to come here and perform for those people. He was a young boy who would go to the Tokyo Dome and watch games, and now he has the chance as a Major League Baseball player to set the tone for the next generation. They feel pride in that, and they also feel a lot of pressure. So it's amazing the way that these people have received all of us. The Japanese people are just all about respect, and I think that's the number one word that comes to mind, just the way that they respect everything about the way that we take in baseball, and they want us to feel so welcome in their country, and it's been amazing.
Yeah, it is an amazing experience over there, I can tell you that. And look, you've been covering the Cubs now for a number of years. And so you've seen this organization and this team over the last couple of years. And what have you noticed, or this is very early on in the early going, they haven't even played a regular season game yet, but what have you noticed about the atmosphere and what's going on inside that clubhouse between the players?
It's exciting. I think since I've been here, my first year was in 2020, so this is my 6th season. This is the best team that we have, or the Cubs have had since I have been here. So that is clear. I think everyone in that clubhouse really believes that as well. I think you look at bringing in Kyle Tucker and Ryan Presley, and you could list some other moves as well. It was an indication to players, hey, we really want to try to go for this, win this National League Central, get into the playoffs, because that's where the Chicago Cubs belong. And so the players have bought into that, and they're really excited. They think they have a really good group. It's a group that's bonded. You have some veterans, some young players, and I think it's a good group to kind of get this season rolling. So these couple games against the Dodgers will certainly be a good litmus test.
Hey, Taylor, also coming over from the Astros was Ryan Presley. How has he looked so far, and what are the expectations for him as he returns to that closer role for the Cubs?
Yeah, he's been great. Not only has he looked good in games, but he's been a welcome presence out there in the bullpen because, you know, those guys bond really well. They talk a lot of baseball, and he's certainly been a welcomed addition. I think when it comes to Presley, you know, everybody wants to talk about him being the closer, but when you talk to Craig Counsell and Roflo, you know this, Counts doesn't want to talk about the closer role. He wants to talk about another incredibly valuable guy at the back end of the bullpen who will get outs. He talks so much about needing 27 outs, and Presley is a proven reliever in high leverage situations, yes. And having that at the back end of bullpens is so important, and that was something the Cubs really struggled with at the beginning of last season. So having someone with experience back there will be important for the Cubs and really set the tone early.
You bring up Craig Counsell, and this is where I was going to go with my next question anyway, so I'm glad you did. He was probably their marquee free agent they picked up last offseason. What have you seen from him going into his second season? Is he singing a different tune? Is there anything that he's doing a little bit differently to try to get more out of this club?
I think he just himself is a little bit more comfortable. You know, you talk about coming in as the new guy and sort of the big free agent, which is never a role that managers really want, all the attention on them. But that was where he was a year ago. And he talked about stepping into the clubhouse and not knowing everyone's name, you know, from the people who work at the front of the clubhouse to, you know, everyone around. And now with a year of experience, you step in and you do know their names. And that has given him a sense of comfort. And it's also given him and Jed Hoyer and Carter Hawkins another year to work together and figure out what works for the best with them when it comes to communication and try sort of how they can help the roster grow throughout the season and different things that they can do. So I think that relationship is really important as well. And the experience from a year ago will certainly help.
Taylor, we'll get you out of here on this one. There are so many things that I want to you know, when I make my first trip to Tokyo, there's so many things I want to do because of all the footage I've seen. But your trip to the cafe where they have the pigs running around, that might be number one on my list. It's called the Me Pig Cafe. I mean, this looks incredible, Taylor.
I'm so glad you've loved my Instagram content because the guys have been joking with me that it looks like I'm having the most fun, and I was like, which one of my 8 million Instagram posts is giving it away? But this, I'm with you, Roflo. This was at the top of the list. The Meat Pig Cafe was so cool. They have a bunch of different animal cafes here, so you can decide between a hedgehog, pigs. I mean, there's a whole list of cafes that you can go out to or go to out here. So it's been so much fun. I still have a lot to do, so keep following that Instagram content, Roflo. I will keep providing.
Now they don't cook the pigs there, right? They don't.
No, and somebody was asking me if I called one bacon, and I'm like, that's just mean.
No, I'm just making sure. That's good. I'm glad they kept the nice theme going. Taylor, we appreciate you getting up early. Enjoy the game tonight, and we look forward to chatting with you down the road. Enjoy.
Thanks. Good to see you guys.
You too. That's Taylor McGregor covering the Cubs for Marquee Sports. Chicago Cubs, of course, will open up their season tomorrow morning here stateside against the Los Angeles Dodgers. St. Louis Cardinals, they still have Nolan Arenado. Wilson Contreras is moving to first base. The Pittsburgh Pirates have an amazing rotation.
They do.
Are they good enough to win the National League Central?
I don't think so. I don't think they are. You look at that rotation, and you saw the score tonight, right? Or today, 4-2. If they're going to win games, that's how it's going to have to be this year, because offensively, I just don't see where it's going to come from. But from a pitching standpoint, look, this team can throw the baseball. When you look at the top three there aren't very many teams in Major League Baseball who wouldn't take those three as their top three. Maybe the Dodgers, right? Like, after that, this is a really good top three.
And there's a young guy, Bubba Chandler, who's coming
up on the way, and he is going to be something special. So it's only going to get better. Now, to me, I look at some of the additions they made this offseason. Tommy Pham.
I like it.
Yeah, look, it's a good addition, but they finished 24th in runs scored last year, right? Like, we have all these fancy statistics and analytical numbers that try to encapsulate how good a team is offensively. What it comes down to is how many runs do you score? They weren't good at it last year.
Joey Bart went deep again today. That's
huge,
a welcome sign.
Huge, but where are they going to get the offense from? Look, O'Neal Cruz has to take a step forward. We thought he was going to last year. Didn't happen. He has to take a step forward. Brian Hayes, I just talked about him, right? He could take a step forward, but it's been a long time, and we just haven't seen it yet. I like Nick Gonzalez as their second baseman from an offensive standpoint. He can do some things, but I just don't see enough right now to make me feel like I could say they're going to be better than the Cubs, they're going to be better than the Brewers, and they're going to be better than the Reds. Because those three teams, I really like the Reds, but I think the Cubs are better, and I think the Brewers are still a good team.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because we said yesterday, I feel like people are discounting the Brewers, a team that won this division by 10 games. So it's going to be a competitive and compelling National League Central.